Question number 31. Which among the following is not a cause for power loss in a transformer? Option 1. Eddy currents are produced in the soft iron core of a transformer. Option 2. Electric flux sharing is not properly done in primary and secondary coils. Option 3. Humming sound produced in the transformers due to magnetostriction. Option 4. Primary coil is made up of a very thick copper wire. According to key, official key, answer for this question number 31, correct statement is option 4, as primary coil made of thick copper wire has very less resistance, therefore negligible power loss. Rest all options are reasons for power loss in a transformer. So we go into the solution. According to key, option 4. Option 4 is the correct answer. We will analyze the question now. Now we will analyze the question. Eddy currents are produced in the soft iron core of a transformer. See, even though he has used the word power loss, we will have to take it as energy loss. Okay, power loss will lead to energy loss. It is obvious. So we now discuss it in terms of energy loss. Okay, eddy currents are produced in the soft iron core of a transformer. It is loss of energy. So it is a loss. Right. The second one, electric flux sharing is not properly done. Electric flux sharing is not properly done in primary and secondary coils. It should have been magnetic flux. Should have been magnetic flux instead of electric flux. Okay, magnetic flux sharing is not properly done. So that is also a cause of energy loss. Right? Then humming sound produced in the transformers due to a phenomenon called magnetostriction. So what is actually magnetostriction? See, the core of a transformers undergoes magnetization demagnetization process because of the alternating current. Due to this magnetization demagnetization process, the core undergoes change in its dimensions or shape, which is associated with low pitched humming sound. So it is also a loss, right? Because sound is a form of energy that is released by the transformer basically. So that energy is given out. So it is considered as a loss of energy. What is magnetostriction? Due to alternate magnetization demagnetization of the core, there is a change in shape and dimensions of the core, which will be associated with a low pitched humming sound, which is a form of energy. Why should you consider it as a form of energy? Sound is released. Where from the sound is coming? From the transformer. So energy is coming out from the transformer altogether, which is considered as a loss in energy. So loss. Then primary coil is made up of a very thick copper wire. So it is a remedy for the loss in energy. We know that R is equal to rho into L by A. Thick wire means area is more. This will reduce the resistance. Less resistance. Okay, so R is less means I squared R, which is a power loss, that also will be less. So thick wire if you use, it is not a cause. Not a cause. In fact, energy loss is reduced. Question says not a cause for power. Therefore, correct option as given in the key is option 4. Okay. Question number 32. An alternating voltage source of variable angular frequency omega. You take it as omega. This one looks like W. You take it as omega. And fixed amplitude V is connected in series with a capacitance C and electric bulb of resistance R. Inductance 0. When omega is increased, option 1, the bulb glows dimmer. Option 2, the bulb glows brighter. Option 3, net impedance of the circuit remains unchanged. Option 4, total impedance of the circuit increases. This is a diagram given in the key. According to the key, correct option is option 2. Now we will look into the question. An alternating source voltage of variable angular frequency omega. Angular frequency omega. So this is omega. Fixed amplitude V. So this is a picture given in the key. According to key, this is amplitude. Okay, this is amplitude. Usually it will mean RMS value, but now it is given in the question, it is amplitude. So there is no other way, you will have to take it as amplitude. Okay. Now, when omega is increased in this circuit, so this is what is known as a CR series circuit. There is C, there is resistance. That means the bulb has a resistance. You call that resistance as R. This is R, let's say. And according to this key, when omega is increased, that is as omega increases, Xc, which is 1 by 2 pi Fc or 1 by omega C, decreases. Now this arrow, that will mean decreases. That is Xc will decrease. When omega increases, Xc will decrease. So when Xc decreases, current in the circuit will increase. Therefore, brightness of the bulb increases. Option 2, according to the question. But here we have to note one thing. This being a CR circuit, R is the resistance of the bulb, we should consider impedance rather than just Xc. So impedance of the circuit is root of R squared plus Xc squared for a CR circuit. Here omega is increased and also Xc 1 by C omega. So omega is increased as per the question. C remains constant. Therefore Xc will decrease. And here you have to take R constant because nothing is told, so you take R constant. But this is constant, don't take it as decreases, okay? This is constant. But Xc decreases. As a result, this Z will decrease. When Z decreases, we know I is V by Z rather than V by Xc, you have to put V by Z. Z decreases, therefore current increases. So the current decides the brightness of the bulb, therefore brightness of the bulb increases. Option 2. So key correctly explains, but only thing we have to include the resistance of the bulb also. We will have to use I is V by Z, right? So correct option, option 2. Okay. Next question. Question number 33. A solid spherical conductor has a charge plus Q and a radius R. It is surrounded by a solid spherical shell with charge minus Q, inner radius 2R and outer radius 3R. Which of the following statements is true? 4 options given. The electric potential has a maximum magnitude at C and the electric field has a maximum magnitude at A. Option 2. the electric potential has a maximum magnitude at D and the electric field has a maximum magnitude at B. Option 3, the electric potential at A is 0 and the electric field has a maximum magnitude at D. Option 4, both the electric potential and electric field achieve a maximum magnitude at B. According to the key, correct option is option 4, as all other statements seem incorrect in context with the given figure. Now, let us analyze the question. Whether it is electric field or potential, it will be maximum at the surface. Maximum at the surface. Electric field or potential due to the spherical conductor or the shell as shown here. And also he has given everywhere electric field maximum. He is discussing about the maximum electric field and maximum potential. But maximum electric field or potential will be at the surface. Okay, so we have to apply this concept. Also we will have to use principle of superposition. So first we will take electric field at B, which has got two parts due to its own spherical conductor and also due to the shell, okay, outer shell. So electric field at B, let's say EB, E subscript B, and at B electric field due to the outer shell will be 0. Therefore electric field, net electric field will be EB. Net electric field is EB. At B, electric field at B. Then again electric field at D. At D, electric field due to the inner conductor, the value will be less than EB. And due to the outer conductor will again be, you can consider it as say ED, which will be numerically less than EB. Numerically less than EB, also it is negative. So when you consider the algebraic sum of this, also this, because this is negative, this is positive. Why this is negative? Because the charge here is negative. Okay, charge inside here, that is positive. Therefore at D the net electric field will be less than EB. Net electric field, there is no place here, so net electric field is less than EB. So electric field is maximum at B, because it's EB at B less than EB, comparatively speaking less than EB at D. The other points we don't consider, we consider only the surfaces. So electric field is maximum at B. There is one choice here. Again electric field maximum at B, another choice here. But you can use the same argument, similar arguments to establish that potential is also maximum at B. So potential and electric field both achieve a maximum magnitude at B would be correct. Similar argument you can put forward to prove that electric potential also is maximum at B. Therefore, as per the key, option 4 is correct. Even I have explained here how option 4 is correct. Therefore, the correct option, option 4. Okay. Question number 34. A battery is connected to the conductor of non-uniform cross-section area. The quantities or quantity which remains constant is option 1, electric field only. Option 2, drift speed and electric field. Option 3, electric field and current. Option 4, current only. As per the key, correct option is option 4. Here option 4 is given. Rest all quantities change with area of cross section of a conductor. That means remaining quantity, all other quantities change with area of cross section of a conductor. Option 4 only remains constant. So we can explain this. See, he has given a battery is connected to the conductor of non-uniform area of cross section. So this indicates current is constant. Current is constant because a battery is connected. So current is constant. Okay, that remains constant. So current only is given. So first of all, current is constant. Here the other quantities given are electric field and drift speed. Okay, it is only coming again and again. And you see that electric field, how do you prove that electric field is not a constant? Right? We know that J is equal to sigma times E. Ohm's law at a point, or this is vector form of Ohm's law. If you want, you can even call it as vector form of Ohm's law. From this we understand sigma is constant. If J varies, why J varies? Because A varies. Why A varies? Non-uniform cross section. So when J varies, sigma being constant, this also varies. That means not constant. Also we know that current density is current per unit normal area. Okay. So when you say A varies, J will vary. J varies because A varies. When J varies, sigma constant, E has to vary. When E varies, we say it is not constant. So electric field is not constant. So not constant. Electric field comes here, so not constant. Electric field comes here, not constant. So out of these things, we get current only. So current only is constant. So correct option is option 4. Okay. Next one. Question number 35. 3 resistors having values R1, R2 and R3 are connected in series to a battery. Suppose R1 carries a current of 2 ampere. R2 has a resistance of 3 ohm and R3 dissipates 6 watt power. 6 watts of power. Then the voltage across R3 is option 1, 1 volt, option 2, 2 volt, option 3, 3 volt, option 4, 4 volt. This is a diagram given, 3 resistors. The given data, I is 2 ampere, R2 3 ohm, power 6 watt in the resistor 3. Then power across R3, V3 into I, 6 watt is, he is used I squared R formula here, I squared R3. From that R3 has been got 6 by 2 into 2, 2 square, 6 by 4 because I is 2. R1 current is 2 means R3 also 2 because they are in series. So 6 by 4, R3 is 3 by 2, 1.5 ohm and voltage is equal to I into R3. I is 2, R3 is 1.5, 3 volt. Correct option is option 3. That's okay. But you see one step he has given extra that is not required. From here itself you can straight away get the answer. No need to use find R3 and all those things. See here, you are asked to find V3. So V3 is equal to here power by current. Power in resistor 3 by current. But power is given to be 6 watt in resistor 3. So 6. Current is 2. Because here 2 ampere means everywhere in all the 3 resistors it is 2 ampere. So 2. So 3 volt. These are all extra steps, not necessary. Anyhow, the correct answer is 3 volt, which is option 3. So option 3. Okay.